Good evening, guys. I'm having a problem at the moment with TikTok, but let's not just let me try and do this again, guys. Listen, I do apologize for this. Right, it's not working for some reason. The TikTok's not working today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be talking about the unlikely event. You know what? I'm just going to go on YouTube. We're just going to go on YouTube today, ladies and gentlemen. We are just double streaming. I may jump back on TikTok in a little bit. I may not. Look, guys. Normally we are triple streaming, but today we are just double streaming. All right, so we are just going to be streaming today on YouTube and on X. So the crux of today's live stream, ladies and gentlemen, is what to do in the unlikely event that you get that text message. You get that text message from your school saying your school is in lockdown. Like, how do you deal with that? What do you do? Oh, hang on a minute. Right, my TikTok here has just totally swizzled me out, guys. Give me a second on this. It's just give me a second. I do apologize. I'll get into the I'll get into this in a sec. It says I need to scan this QR code. Oh no, I need to do it with a TikTok scanner. Sorry, guys. We will get into this in a minute. I might have been banned. I might have been totally. Listen, guys, it wouldn't surprise me. I've been totally banned from TikTok, so I need to go to profile. I need to go to that one. Oh, I've only got 4% on my phone as well. What do I need to do? I need to go to QR code. I need to go scan. I've literally got 4%. No, I think for some reason, guys, the TikTok just kicked me out. Yeah, guys, listen, we are going to be talking. I am going to come on to this in a minute. I do apologize if I go for 2 minutes. Look, guys, these are just the things that happen when you're live streaming. Look, guys, you guys know I'm not, I give you guys real stuff, right? We are hardly a polished channel. We are hardly a polished channel. Right, let me jump on that and get this. I think we can triple stream again, guys. April Lee over on YouTube. I don't know what happened. The live stream just went down. I don't know, guys. Something seemed very suspicious. Let me just reset that camera. Right, so I think I'm back streaming now on TikTok, guys. I do. Anyway, look, guys, I do apologize to everyone. I apologize, guys. Look, when you live stream, things like this happen. So today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be talking about what to do, how to react if in the unlikely event that your child's school goes into lockdown. Now, I just need to still open up a few of these web browsers. I need to open up that one. For some reason, the internet just kicked me off then, guys. I have no idea why, but it did. I need to put that one over there. I need to bigger it. Let me bigger it. I will jump into character in a second, guys. I will. I promise you. I'll jump into character in a second. Right. I need to go to that one. Sorry, guys. Literally give me 2 seconds. Right, so we are in, ladies and gentlemen. We are triple streaming. Again, we was single streaming, then we was double streaming. But don't worry about it, guys, because now we are triple streaming. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to get into this. I do apologize for the slight delay. But what to do if your child's school goes into lockdown, all right? I'm going to be talking about this today, guys, all right? I am going to be talking about that, all right? What to do if your child's school goes into lockdown. Now, I know that there are people, for example, I know April Lee is a teacher. So look, guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys, I'm going to go off the government advice and then I'm going to come back to it. So I'm going to go through this twice, all right? I'm going to go through this the first time that I'm going to give you guys the government advice. I'm going to explore it a little bit deeper. And then I'm going to tell you what I would do and the different timelines that are going to affect my my decisions, all right? That they're going to affect my decisions. So, ladies and gentlemen, this was one of your suggestions. And look, guys, equally, this live stream is one of your suggestions from yesterday. So equally, guys, if you've got any suggestions and you guys want me to do a live stream about it, please just throw it in the comments, and I will do that, guys. Okay, like throw it in the comments, and I will, and I'll do a live stream about that. I'll think about it. I'll come up with the solution, and I will give you the answers. Right. Just before we get started, a few people have messaged on the TikTok chat. Excuse me. A few people have messaged on the TikTok chat and they said they missed the TikTok live stream, the subscribers only live stream. Right, guys, look, I'm just going to put it out there. I've developed a Raven app. I've developed the Raven app, and that is an encrypted. It's a way that you guys can encrypt your messages. I've developed the app. The app's ready. The app works. The problem is, for some reason, I can't get on the Apple website and I can't upload to Apple. So I'm having a little bit of problems, guys, right? So that was the live stream. For the subscribers on TikTok, you guys are going to get that. And you know what, actually? And for the guys who have, and for the team members on YouTube as well, you guys are going to get that first. I'm going to give you guys a beta edition of that. And what I want to do is I want you guys to look at that app, say, hey, Sean, you know what? I think that app's fantastic, but these improvements could be made. Hey, Sean, do you know what? Your app's great. We don't really use it that much. Whatever that feedback is, guys, I'll take it from you and I will develop that app. And that will be a Raven app, guys, okay? That will be a Raven app, and we'll use that together. Russell Pisa. Russell Pisa on TikTok is saying, you actually look like a raven. Russell Pisa. I'm not called Raven for nothing. Right, let's just get into this, guys. Listen, let's go on to this, and I will come back to everyone's comments. I'll get as many comments as I can. We are triple streaming, ladies and gentlemen. We are streaming on YouTube, X, and TikTok. There's been a bit of a delay this morning. There was a little bit of a delay this afternoon. There was a bit of a delay this afternoon, but let's just get on with it, guys, okay? So, what to do if your child's school goes into lockdown? That's what we're talking about today, guys. It's a very difficult subject to. It's a very difficult subject to navigate. It really is. It involves children. It involves bad people. It involves emergency services, and like I said, very difficult topic to navigate through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this twice, I think. The initial time I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about what the government advice is. I'm then going to go back, so it's fresher in your minds. I'm then going to go back and I'm going to say what I would actually do. And I'm going to give you the reasons for that. So let's continue. Imagine some, I don't know, some music playing in the background or something. So today, guys, I want to dive into the important topic. If you're a parent, and even if you're not a parent, you may be a parent at some point. And at some point, you may or may not have had parents. So what to do if your child's school goes into lockdown. Now, look, guys, you can imagine the scenario, right? You're there, you're at work, you're in Asda, you're in Tesco, wherever, and you get that text message on your phone. Hello, Mr. Raven. Please don't worry, but your school has gone into lockdown. Don't worry. Don't worry. Is that where we're going? Now, that's what we're talking about today, guys. And with school safety being of a I don't know, is there any bigger concern for parents than their children? Is there any bigger concern for parents than their children? So it's natural, guys. All right, it's natural. It's natural to wonder how you should respond if you get that text message, because I can guarantee that a lot of people in the United Kingdom will be blasé to this. A lot of people will have no idea what's coming. And when it's coming, guys, there will be rabbits in the headlights, all right? So I want to walk through the UK government's advice for parents. And look, guys, I can do this. I can do this because I've been in those scenarios. I've advised governments. I've advised governments at the highest level, I guess, you know, how to deal with this sort of stuff. So I'm gonna walk through this, and I'm gonna talk through this, you know, and I want this to be a little bit of an you know, pro quo. So if you've got any questions, guys, I will give you know, I will pause and ask questions and take questions, you know. And if you want me to get more granular, please throw that granulation in there, guys. Throw that granulation in there. So there will be thought-provoking questions, guys. All right, but that's what we're going through today, guys. How to react if you get that text message on your phone, your child's school is in lockdown. How do you cope with that? So let's set the stage, guys. Let's set the scenario. Let's give a realistic scenario. Kids go back to school this September. All right, you sat there, you're at home, you're at the supermarket, you're wherever. Oh, hang on, where's Nadine? Is Nadine throwing things out there? Where's Nadine? Has Nadine jumped back up? Sorry, guys. Earlier on, when I was live streaming, I had a lady called Nadine, and she was saying the Notting Hill Carnival doesn't start tomorrow. But then I checked the Notting Hill Carnival website, and it says, yeah, definitely kicks off tomorrow, guys. Definitely kicks off tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe she's just too woke. Maybe she's just too woke, and she thinks maybe because nobody's been. You know, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. That would be totally rude. That would be totally rude. Right, Nadine's gone. Lord of Langwith is saying Nadine, or they send. Right, Lord of Langwith, is Nadine messaging? Because I can't see it. Oh, there it is. All right, Nadine. Nadine, I respect you, Nadine. All due respect to Nadine, but Nadine, right? Look, guys, the crux of this video, and I was just about to get into it, is what to do if your child's school goes into lockdown. So, Nadine, if you have children, just sit back and listen. We can argue about the Notting Hill Carnival in a minute, all right? And you're not arguing with me, sweetheart. You're arguing with the Notting Hill Carnival website. On the Notting Hill Carnival website, it says Notting Hill Carnival kicks off tomorrow. So, ergo, by my infancy, by my, call it whatever you want, I believe the Notting Hill Carnival website over you. Maybe it's not when everybody's going around doing the Notting Hill Carnival things, but the Notting Hill Carnival definitely kicks off tomorrow, guys. Nadine, we can argue later. Right now, we're talking about how to react if your child's school goes into lockdown. So, first, ladies and gentlemen, let's set the stage. Let's set the stage, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Kids go back to school in September, first week of September. You get that text message on your phone and you're, how do you react? What are you going to do right now? Well, I'm going to talk through government guidelines. I'm then going to come back and I'm going to talk about how I would react. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not a subject matter expert in many things. Actually, I am. I'm a subject matter expert in things that don't really come into the public opinion very, very often. That's why I charge so much as my day rate. However, I'm going to tell you what I would do, and some of the advice I'm going to give is counter to the government's advice. But then I'm going to tell you why the government advice is the government advice. So first, let's set the stage, guys. Okay, a school lockdown happens when there's a potential threat, like an intruder, a nearby incident, dangerous animal. You know, there's a whole host of things why kids would go into lockdown. However, as we move forward through time and we have this new, more colorful, culturally diverse country. Look, guys, in my local town, well, not my local town, actually, that's a fabrication. In a little village near me earlier on today, there was a black man arrested and he was naked running around a park. That is the truth, guys, all right? It's all over Facebook if you want to go and look at it. Didn't even meet the mainstream. So you can only imagine what's going to be happening when the kids go back to school. So the UK government, through the Department of Education, and look, guys, if I'm saying anything that's didactically incorrect, please correct me, all right? I'm going from government sources here, guys, all right? I'm going from government sources, right? So the UK government, through the Department of Education, encourages schools to have a lockdown procedure. again, it's a sad state of affairs that this happens. All right. To keep now, they encourage this to keep students and staff safe. But what does this actually mean for parents? I mean, when I was at school, we didn't have a lockdown procedure. We didn't have a lockdown procedure. In fact, I can remember, actually, guys, this is a true story. There was a guy, I actually know this guy. Sarah knows him as well. There was a guy who trespassed on our school in the 90s. And the PE teachers went and apprehended this guy. And I remember speaking to this guy afterwards. He was just going through a bad time. And I actually know him. And he said, yeah, I was going on to school and I thought, oh, these two teachers have got me. They're not going to hurt me. They're only teachers. And this guy said he had the biggest beating he's ever had in his life. So that's how we used to deal with stuff in the 90s. That's how we used to deal with stuff in the 90s, guys. All right. If you're watching, and you know who you are, if you're watching, I know the backstory behind that, and it's not as sinister. But look, guys, what I'm getting at here is we used to deal with things differently in the 90s. So how do we stay calm, support our children when we get that dreaded text message, guys? You can imagine it now. You get that text message, Raven, your child's school has gone into lockdown. All right. So based on the latest guidelines, based on the latest guidance, we continue, guys. Okay. So this is latest guidance. Okay. Stay informed and wait for updates. That's what the government tell you to do, guys. Okay. Stay informed and wait for, excuse me. Stay informed and wait for updates. That is literally what they're telling you to do. Oh, calm down, guys. Kaz is saying, is there right? Are people arguing on here? Right, who's arguing in the chat? And where are we? All right, okay. Right, is Callum Wilson? Right, guys, you know what? I think I'm just going to go on a massive... should I just go on a massive blocking spree? Right, Callum Wilson is saying, whenever I hear this bloke always having a rational chat... All right, okay, can't fault you. Right, no, I don't think people are arguing on the chat, guys. No, I don't think people are. I don't think people are arguing on the chat. So the government advice, ladies and gentlemen, if your children go into lockdown, is stay informed and wait for updates. Just conceptualize that for a second, guys. All right, you know, you get that text message on your phone, and you're supposed to stay away from the school. You get to stay away from the school. You've got to stay away from the school, and you've got to wait for the school to contact you. One thing I will, and the government are saying, you do not call the school, guys. All right, you do not call the school. The government is saying if you call the school, you're going to overwhelm the lines, and those critical phone calls that the school are trying to get out, they may not be able to make those phone calls, guys. All right. So I've got a question for you guys listening. All right. I've got a question for you guys listening. All right. Have you ever checked how your children's school communicate during emergencies? I genuinely know I have. You know, and the school thought I was daft when I went in. I'm like, okay, so this is big school now. This is comprehensive school. Like, if there's an emergency, how do you let me know? Oh, and they're all looking at each other like they've never been asked this question before. So this is the question, guys, to you. If you've got kids, and if you've not got kids, just try and answer it anyway. Have you ever checked how your child's school would communicate to you during an emergency? Do you know if they use text, emails, if it's like that class dojo? You know, what is it? Do you know how your school would how your school would communicate with you to say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Raven, your child's school is in lockdown? And that's the first one, guys, because it may not be the normal method. It may be something different if you've moved to a new area, if you've moved to a new school, if your kids have gone up. You know, how do your children's, like, how does the school communicate with you? That's what I'm talking about, guys. How did they get you the message? Jane Taylor over on YouTube is saying, no, that way, that's why, like, yeah, Jane. So Jane Taylor is saying, no way, that's like saying, stay at home until it's all over and the outcome is to be grim. Yeah, Jane, I totally agree with you, Jane Taylor over on YouTube. What I'm going to do now, look, guys, what I'm doing now is I'm going through the government advice. I'm going to come back. I'm going to give the government advice again. And then I'm going to tell you why the government give that advice or what I would do. Because the different times, because timing is everything in this, guys. Timing is going to be key. So I want to give you guys more depth into this and a greater understanding on why the government give these guidelines. Yeah. Sorry, guys. Nadine over on TikTok is saying, have a safety plan with your kids and make sure their phones are always topped up. Just a quick one, guys. I believe you can make, like, can't you make an emergency call without any credit? I'm pretty sure you can do that. Okay, so guys, so the next part of the government advice is do not rush to the school. I am going to double back on this, guys, but I'm giving you guys the government advice, okay? This is the government advice. Do not rush to the school. Now, I agree, guys. It's a tough one, all right? It's a tough one. But the government guidance is quite clear. Do not go to the school during a lockdown, all right? It is instinctive, isn't it, to go to the school? Mr. Raven, your kids are in lockdown. Just stay at home and have a nice cup of tea and a sandwich until it's all over. What? Bro, get the nines. We're going on a side quest. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? It is counterintuitive. This is the government advice. I am going to come back to this, guys, okay? So it does feel instinctive to go and pick your child up to say, listen, do you know what? Thank you very much, but I just want to get my child home. I want to cuddle them. I want to stroke their hair. This is the government advice, guys, okay? But what they're saying is showing up could interfere with emergency procedures. It could even put yourself and others at risk. Schools and emergency services, they need space to handle that situation, you know. And again, schools will tell you when it's coming safe to collect your children. Guys, look, I am going to come back and I'm going to pull this to pieces. I really am, guys. I'm going to come back and I'm going to pull this to pieces. But I want to be as objective as I can. You know, because I don't want people coming on here saying Sean's spouting Duff Jen. He's saying things that are not true and he's saying la. So what I'm doing is I'm giving you the information. I'm going to come back to that information and I'm going to explain how Raven would react. I'm going to give you all the options that I'm faced with. Hypothetically, of course. So, quick question for you guys, okay? Another question for you guys are my audience, right? Another question for the audience, right? How would you feel if you, like, imagine that scenario, guys, all right? How would you feel if you couldn't immediately get to your child during a lockdown? Can you imagine it? You don't know what's happening. You don't know what's happened, to who, to when, to why, to how. All you know, literally, you've had one text message. Mr. and Mrs. Raven, your children's school is in lockdown. How would you feel if you couldn't get immediately to your child in that lockdown, guys, right? What could you do? What do you feel? I bit my lip earlier. What do you feel you could do? Like, how do you think you could stay calm in a moment like that? You know, because I am going to come back to that, but like, how could you calm your nerves in that moment? Because nobody needs panicking Karens. Rachel McClelland is saying, Sean, can you give guidance on how the schools should treat kids with special needs? Should act as my son is autistic and there would need to be a different planning. Oh, do you know what? Rachel McClellan, what a fantastic question. Honestly, Rachel McClellan, just like, this is a fantastic question. Right, so she's saying, Sean, can you give guidance on how the schools should treat kids with special needs? I don't have those special needs, that training. I can give you guys the from the aspect of how the emergency service is going to work, why the emergency services give that, go on, what's that? What am I thinking of? Why the emergency services give that advice. What I would say, Rachel, is in this scenario, these scenarios are dynamic and no two scenarios are going to be the same. So I would say in this instance, the fact that your child has special needs or not, I don't think it's going to matter. You can try and put yourself in those teachers' situation, in that scenario, right, with your teachers. Your son, if he does have special needs, if he's autistic, he's going to be suffering a lot worse than, your son will be. I hope I'm not speaking out of term here, Rachel, but I would believe that in that type of event, your son would need more assistance than other students. Now, the teachers, unfortunately, at that time, they don't have that capacity to give your son the extra help that he needs. The first and foremost, job of your teachers is to protect, I'm going to say it, guys, is to protect life, okay? To protect people's feelings, your son included, Rachel, it's a secondary. So unfortunately, Rachel, I don't think the guidance is going to be any different. I don't. I hope I've answered that question as comprehensively as I can. So let's continue, guys. Okay, let's continue. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Let's continue. So another thing that you need to do, guys, okay? So do you know your school's lockdown plan, policy, procedure? Do they have one? Remember, ladies and gentlemen, the government advise that all schools should have a lockdown plan, but it's not mandatory, okay? So not all schools will have a lockdown plan, all right? But the government does encourage schools to have their own lockdown procedures and to share that with parents. I know that the school that the girls go to, I know they haven't overtly shared that with us. They haven't. I've had to go into them and say, listen, what is how is this thing going on? What do you guys do? I got a very poor answer off the school the girls go to. But it is what it is, guys. It is what it is. You may have a competent school, you may not have a competent school. It's up to you as parents to find out and make your own family policy. Make your own family policy and make that known between yourself and the kids. Okay, so excuse me. Like I said, guys, the government encourages schools to share their lockdown procedures with parents. And this is often through letters, meetings, those emails that you're like, oh, God, I'm not reading that. Now, these might cover full lockdowns, partial lockdowns, say securing the building from an outside threat, or a full lockdown where everyone has to hide under the tables and we have to lock the windows and doors and, all the teachers become John Rambo. But, some schools may not have anything. Some schools may, I know that a lot of people have been talking about this. A lot of schools recently have been practicing lockdown. They've been practicing lockdown the same way that they would practice their fire drills. And look, guys, as crazy as it sounds, I wish I was talking about aliens. I do, guys. But unfortunately, this is the world we live in. And I'm genuinely worried, guys. I'm genuinely worried. There's a lot of data points at the moment that are pointing to a school strike. So this is why I'm doing these live streams, guys. Okay. So, excuse me. like I said, some schools prepare these lockdown drills with. Oh, have I got beef in the YouTube chat? Right, hang on. What's happening in the YouTube chat? Hang on, guys. Sorry, guys. I get. Right, what's going on? I can't see what's going on in the. So Judy on the YouTube chat. I'm gonna pin it because I love her. I bet she's really good looking. I bet she's really good looking. I bet she's like 5'11", blonde hair, real slim, blue eyes, and great genes. I can tell this is what Judy is. So Judy is just saying white man. I don't know what that means, Judy. I don't know what that means. I mean, look, Judy, if you're trying to describe me, you should be saying white man with fantastic hair. That's what you should be saying, Judy. So just that you're saying white man, I mean, I would identify as a white man with fantastic hair, teeth, literally like every faculty and every gambit that the good Lord could endow on another human being. That's what he would give me, ladies and gentlemen. So, Judy, so you're just saying white man. I feel like you're doing me discredit. I don't know what she's saying there. So let me jump up and see what else she's saying. She just said white man. Right, I think she's gone. I think Judy's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, don't worry. I think Judy's gone. Let's not worry about her. I think she was just angry. What's that girl's name? Is it Stacey Sweeney? Who has great genes? Is it Stacey Sweeney? What's her name? Is this the girl who's got great genes? Is this what you guys know what I'm talking about? So I think she's just angry that Stacey Sweeney's got great genes and she's not. Right, guys. So another question for everyone. Sorry, guys. It's wild tonight, ladies and gentlemen. It's wild. We've got Judy calling me a white man. She forgot my great hair, fantastic teeth, blue eyes. How many of those do you see? She's forgot that I've got every physical attribute known to man. I'm like the ultimate alpha. Judy totally forgot that. She forgot that. So look, guys, let's get back on track. We are talking about how you, as parents, members of the public, deal with that dreaded scenario where you get that text message to your phone and it says your child's school is in lockdown. Okay, so third question for you guys. All right, I think, are we on 3 or 4 maybe? So another question, guys, all right? Does your child's school have a lockdown policy? And that's a genuine question, guys. I want to know what the answers are from you guys. And be honest about it. Tell me if you don't know. If you don't know, they probably don't, all right? So let me know if your child's school have a lockdown policy. Have you seen it? Have you talked to your child about it? Have you talked to your child about the training, how they felt, what they would do? I mean, I was scaring the girls earlier, and I think I may have gone a little bit. I didn't go too far. Do you know what? I would rather the girls be scared than have these things happen to them. So I think that's fair. Guys. And I've seen more than most. All right. So again, guys, so there's a question, right? Does your child's school have a lockdown policy? Have they rehearsed the procedure? And have you seen it? Is it on a written piece of paper? These things, you get a lot of these woke teachers. You get a lot of these woke teachers who think this is never going to happen until it happens. How many times have I said this, guys? Everything's fine until it's not fine. Everything's fine until it's not fine. So, does your child's school have a lockdown procedure? Have you seen it? Have you talked to your head teacher? Have you talked to your class? Like, what is that procedure? In the 90s, we used to just deploy a couple of PE teachers and, that was the end of it. That person didn't come back again. But we're living in 2005 now. We have crazy stuff happening. Right, so how to support people, how to support your child, right? Once the lockdown is over, now there's going to be varying degrees of this. Now, I've I've not had specific training with children. I've had training with how to deal with adults, but never specific training with children, right? So I feel I'm limited answering questions in this aspect, but I'll explain what the government guidance is. Okay, so the government guidance is once the lockdown is over, your child may feel scared, confused. The government, and again, this is the UK government's like mental health guidelines, suggest you create a safe space, talk to them, listen without judgment. Come to the Ravens house and see how often that happens. All right, Daddy, I want to tell you something, but promise you won't get mad. Go on, tell me. I promise I won't get mad. Daddy, this happened. Ah! Daddy, you said you wouldn't get mad. I know I did. But look, guys, it happens. You know, families are families. You deal with it as best you can. But this is the government guidelines, okay? So you do need to offer children, as anyone, you need to offer people assurance, right? You can also, there's also resources. I think there's like the Young Minds, Parents Helpline. There's all sorts of like mental health things out there at the moment, right? What I'm getting at here is like varying degrees of this, guys. There was one in Sheffield a couple of was it last year or was it the beginning of this year? There was one in Sheffield. Schools are going to go into lockdown, guys. It's 2025. The government are planning for a mass incident. I am saying, me, Raven, I am saying that schools are ridiculously vulnerable, guys. That is the reality. The younger the school, the more vulnerable. We have had now instances, lots of people are talking about the threat to schools. Lots of people are talking about the government, how they're going to react. Lots of people, you know, lots of videos circulating online of migrants outside schools, taking films, taking videos of kids. This is happening, guys. I'm not making this up. I'm not making this up to try and scare people. I'm telling people what's actually happening, all right? So there's going to be varying degrees. Right, who's the beef in the YouTube? Right, hang on. Right, what's happening here in YouTube? Right, what's going on? Right, okay, I'm going to block. Right, okay, guys, listen. On YouTube, you guys are going wild, all right? Mephisto, I don't even know what that name is. Mephisto, I don't know what your name is. Mephistopheles. I don't know if you just hit the keyboard, right? It's saying toxic misandry again, all right? First of all, I don't know if English is your first language or not, but I'm going to give you right now, I'm going to give you 1 minute to write an apology to everyone, especially me. If you're calling me toxic, I'm wearing that as a badge of honor. If you're calling me, I don't know, a misandry, I don't know what that means. I don't know. I genuinely don't know what misandry means. If you mean misogyny, I don't know. Maybe you mean misogyny, but that's certainly not what you spell. So, all right. So, in fact, misalphalates, all right. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, actually. I'm giving misalphalates 2 minutes to write an apology. Now, I said 1 minute, but I know I can see English is not their first language. So I'm going to give them a couple of minutes to go and put that into Google spell check and come back. And in 2 minutes, if you're not giving a nice apology, you know, you're gone like Shally Badon. No, do you know what, actually? Your 2 minutes is up and you are gone. Sorry, guys. Hang on. Where's that gone? Sorry. I'm all over. Right. Banned, user banned, ladies and gentlemen. Look, guys, I don't mind people trolling me. I don't mind people trolling me. But at least spell the words right. Come on. So, like, you can imagine how embarrassing it is for someone trying to troll someone and they spell things wrong. look, okay, whatever. I know a lot of people that troll me don't, English isn't their first language, and I get that. And equally, look, guys, if anybody wants me to like to debate with me face to face, I'm happy with that. No one does. They don't talk quick. They don't talk quick enough. They don't think quick enough. They are not quick enough. Anyway, guys. Anyway, right. Let's continue, guys. Let's continue, guys. All right. Oh, hang on. Relevant question here, guys. Sean, how often are schools meant to practice these lockdown drills? Is it weekly or is it monthly? So, Rachel, there's nothing in the government guidelines. This is something I was looking at as a health and safety thing. So, for example, fire safety, they have to have a physical drill. I think it's once a year, and they have to test their alarms every week. That's fire safety. With a lockdown drill, there's nothing in the guidelines. There's no government guidance on that. Absolutely no government guidance. Anyway, guys, let's continue. So another question for you guys. And now the chat is going crackers, guys. Thank you for everyone for keeping me on the straight and narrow. Right, guys, another question for you guys, all right? So imagine, and I do this all the time. So do you know what, guys? I'm at a stage now. I don't care if the TikTok gets banned. I really don't. So I'm just going to give you this, all right? When I used to work in Ukraine, I used to deal with a lot of the injured soldiers. And one of the guys that I used to speak to, and I used to work with him, I'm not going to mention his name, but he got captured, all right? He got captured by the bad guys, obviously. I'm still going to, I don't want to lose my TikTok, but equally, if it goes, it goes. I used to work with a guy, and he got captured by the bad guys, all right? And the bad guys got him. They took that bit off. No anesthetic, no nothing. They took that bit off. They let it heal, all right? It healed. A couple of weeks, whatever. No anesthetic. They brought him back in. They brought him in again, all right? I know. All I'm going to do is that. Yeah? That's all I'm saying. They brought him back in again. They let it heal. They brought him back in again. That's all I'm saying. Now, I talked to this guy, and I know him. I've got him on WhatsApp. And I've talked to him in depth about this, and he's been through a trauma. That is a really traumatic thing. And when I talk to you guys, and when I get these people like trolls, doesn't know what he's talking about, hasn't got a clue, doesn't know. I'm like, dude, honestly, some of these trolls that are coming up, my day rate is exceeds your monthly salary. Trust me. Anyway, what I'm talking about here is, people experience things, and people react differently. They do. People react differently to different things. So what I'm getting at here is, if your child has been, or an adult for that matter, but we're talking about children, guys, okay? If your child has been through a traumatic, and traumatic is it's subjective, all right? Somebody may have worse symptoms that watched something from afar than the actual person that was involved in that incident. That's the reality. That is how the brain works. So what I'm getting at here, guys, okay? How do you help your child process these emotions that they're going through? They will feel, believe me, guys, if something really bad happens at that school, your child is going to feel guilt. They're going to feel shame. They're going to wonder why it wasn't them. They're going to be thinking, whether they tell you or not, this is what they'll be thinking. They'll be looking at other people and thinking, oh my God, I feel so guilty. I got away unscathed. These are the realities, guys, all right? So Do you have any go-to ways in your family to talk to your kids? So, for example, in us, in our family, if me and one of the girls are driving in the car and I'm driving, that feels natural. That feels like a safe space. That feels like we can talk. That feels like we can open up more while we're driving. Obviously, every family is going to be different, guys. And look, I'm trying to give you this information as real as I can, as you know, as real as I can from my experience, right? So that's the question, guys. Okay, do you have, do you have any like safes, and that would be a safe space? Do you have those safe spaces with your children, like a special routine, a conversation starter? Maybe each one you bring out, maybe I don't know, I'm just making this up. Maybe you bring out like a special meal, and it's like lasagna, and you're like, oh no, Dad's brought out the lasagna. It's going to be one of those difficult conversations. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You guys know what I'm talking about, okay? So just if you've not got one of those, think you may need one. And as we move forwards and crazy school lockdowns and all that sort of stuff, guys, it's insane. So lockdowns, they are, and this is why I'm going to come back to this, guys, all right? So lockdowns are produced to protect as many people as possible, holistically. And they're made as generic as possible, because every scenario, guys, every scenario is different. Okay, every scenario is different. All right, every scenario is different. So the lockdown procedure has to be as generic as possible. All right, so excuse me. To keep as many people safe as possible. So schools do work closely. They do. They work closely with emergency services, with the police, with the fire engines, with the ambulance services, and I've no doubt that at some point, someone from those organizations have contacted your school and said, hey, have you got a lockdown procedure? If not, would you like to use this template or something like that, guys? So whether it's a real threat, a drill, the goal is always to protect your children. That is always to protect as many children as possible. And unfortunately, guys, this is just the way. This is just the world we live in right now. This is just the world. This is just the world we live in, and it's bonkers that I'm even giving these live streams. But here I am, guys. Here I am. So the next question for you guys is: have you ever talked to your children about what a lockdown would feel like, or what a lockdown drill would feel like? And a lot of people just like slopey shoulders these, or it goes over the top of their head, or they don't want to have those conversations. But you need to have those conversations with the kids, okay? Maybe ask them what they've learned at school. It may spark an important conversation with you and your children. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is for the crux of it, ladies and gentlemen, that is, I guess, the government advice. All right. I'm going to go over this again, and I'm going to tell you how I would react, how the Raven would react in real time. All right. Let me jump in some comments, guys. Philip Gray is saying, my grandfather was my hero. Philip Gray, my grandfather was my hero as well. Weasel on Diesel. It's okay. Okay. Hang on. What's going on? I'm missing the chat here, guys. So Shez is saying on YouTube is saying Shez is saying our children's school did a lockdown drill. They were terrified because they didn't understand what was happening, and the teachers were shouting to get under the desks. Shez, unfortunately, real world scenarios are going to be a lot more terrifying. All right. I've done a lot of never with children. All right. I've done a lot of training. What I noticed was when I used to go to foreign country, all going to foreign countries are foreign to me. When I used to go to another country and they would say, Sean, can you get my military up to this standard? I'd be like, yes, of course. Let me have them. And the training I would give people, it would be really intense. And they'd be like, Sean, this is too much. This is too intense. You're having us do all this hard stuff and it's not what we're used to. And that would just send me crackers, all right? Unfortunately, guys, the nature of the beast with a lockdown, they're not locking the children down. They're not locking the children down because it's going to, because the tooth fairy's outside. They're not locking the children down because Father Christmas is outside giving presents. Unless it is the 25th of December, then that may be the case, because nobody wants to see Father Christmas's magic. However, most kids are off school 25th of December. So yeah, the lockdowns, they will scare people, guys. Anything with any amount of realism will scare people. And that's kind of the point, guys. That is kind of the point. Jeremiah, 111. Right, Jeremiah. If you're giving biblical text, Jeremiah, can you keep it to like a didactic minimum? Because you put a lot of stuff on here, Jeremiah, about biblical text. Let's just keep it to a minimum for this, guys, okay? Because we are talking about schools, emergency preparedness for schools. Are your children ready for lockdown? School lockdowns, what should you do as a parent, okay? Excuse me. So Jeremiah is saying, you're an ex-MP, right? No. Military police? No. I'm just a guy with fantastic hair, teeth, black hair, blue eyes. I'm 6'1" and I'm bags of fun and I dress so viciously. No, I'm not. I just as Jeremiah is saying, I was going to stand for. I was going to stand with reform. At the last election, I resigned. I am ex-military. I'm not police. I've worked with a lot of police, but I'm not a police officer. Hang on a minute. Jeremiah is saying, my grandfather, General Anderson, was the one who beat Rommel. Well, you spelled Rommel wrong. Right, okay, right. I'm not going with that. Right. Right, okay. Hang on a minute. Oh, look, guys, we have got a very fantastic chat coming on at YouTube. I'm just going to pin that on YouTube. I would actually agree with this comment on YouTube here. I would agree with this comment on YouTube. I really would agree with this comment on YouTube. Anyway, guys, look, let's get on to this. Right. So I said, ladies and gentlemen, this text. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to this and I'm going to talk about how I would react and why the emergency services have to give this advice. Okay. So, let's come on. Let's go right back to the initial call, guys. All right. So you get that text message from. So we're going right back to the beginning, guys. I've given you the government advice. I've not even done it yet. I've been on 50 minutes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Can you do me a real big favor? Do you know what? Do you know what? Don't worry about it. I've done so far. I've not asked you to like, comment, subscribe, bell notification. I've not said to you guys, if you're watching on TikTok, click these buttons up here that help me out, the follow buttons. And I've not said if you're watching on YouTube, click the buttons down there, the like, comment, subscribe, bell notification. And I've not said to you guys, can you share the live? And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to ask you to do that. I've been going on at 50 minutes. I've totally forgot because I've been monologuing. But let's just continue. So, setting that stage then, guys, I'm going to imagine myself. Right now, and I'm going to give you the scenario, right? I'm not at work. I'm working from home. I get that text message. Raven, kids, school, lockdown, all right? Now, here's the thing, guys, all right? What they're saying to do is like stay at home and stay informed. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think the time that it took me to get my shoes on out the house, in the car, and at the school gates, I think it'd be less than 3 minutes. I do, guys. I think that'd be less than 3 minutes. Now, the reason I'm saying this, there's a time window here. There's a time window, and you need to be quick, guys, okay? You need to be quick. You need to get quick and really push that forward. So if I got that message straight away, I would be straight up to the school. I'd be straight up to the school anyway, guys, all right? But when I got to the school, there's a difference in things I would do. So if I got that message, like if I'm there and it goes beep, beep, and I get it, I'm gone straight away, guys. I'm gone. What I'm wearing, I'm not passing go. I'm not collecting $200. I'm going straight to the school. That is my main intent. Get to that school gate as quickly as possible. That's what I would do as soon as I got that text message. This is me, ladies and gentlemen. This is my advice, what I would do, guys, okay? Excuse me. So the government advice, obviously, is do not rush the school. My advice is counter to that, guys. But what I'm going to say is, if you can get to the school really quickly, okay, so the reason the government give that advice not to go to the school, you can imagine something really bad's happened at that school, right? You've got Karen, you've got good old Karen and her Range Rover Sport, and she's in the middle of the road and she's going, I'm not going nowhere, me. If you think I'm leaving, we aren't taking Tommy home. I'm staying here now, me, until I get Tommy. We're going home, me. I'm taking him right home now. So you best get him out here right now. Like, honestly, guys, that is what I expect from Karen. All right? That's what I expect from Karen. Behind Karen, she may be blocking in the emergency services, guys. She may be blocking in the emergency services. She may not know that she's blocking in the emergency services. You may have British Special Forces coming up behind because they're tracking this guy. They're in unmarked civilian cars. All sorts of things, guys. So what I'm saying is, if you can get to the school within a couple of minutes of that text, go for it. I know I can, and obviously everybody's scenario is going to be different. But that's the reason why the government tell you not to swarm the school, because in those in those initial phases, like I know with 100% certainty, guys, it's going to take a matter of, if there's a scenario where there's a lockdown, where an assailant is potentially locked in a classroom with people. That's called a hostage situation. It's going to take... oh, no, I'm not blocked. I'm not blocked. I thought I was blocked then, guys. I've just not been touching the screen. Sorry. I think we're good. Yeah. So that's why they say that, guys, all right? So, let me take this down. Anyway, but it's going to be one of those calls, guys. It's going to be one of those difficult calls. For me... I'm not going to listen to the government's advice. I would rush the school. Now, if I got to the school and I'm like an hour late, I'm an hour late. That is literally it. I can't do anything. The police cordons are going to be up. If I try and get past them, I'm going to be arrested myself. And that is going to be that time criticality. If you can get there quick, get there quick. Now, what are you going to do when you get to the school? Has anyone ever seen the movie Aliens? Has anyone ever seen that movie Aliens? There's a excuse me. There's a scene on that movie Aliens where Newt and Sigourney Weaver. What's her name? What's Sigourney Weaver in Aliens? There's a scene where Sigourney Weaver and Newt, they're like having a little sleeping nights on this bed, and someone throws in one of those face huggers, and they try smashing the window. They can't smash the window because the glass is armored. So Sigourney Weaver holds the lighter up to the shows a lighter up to the fire thing, sets the fire alarm off. They all run down. Hicks is like, shoot the glass. So Hudson shoots the glass. Hicks runs through the window and he does a forward roll through the window. That's pretty much Raven. That's pretty much Raven going through that classroom window, regardless of the scenario. All right, guys. So that I would try and get the girls out at all opportunities. You know, they are your kids. All right, and remember these. Look, guys, I'm going against government advice, but I can argue this. I can didactically argue this. In that time period, I believe it makes more sense for you to go in and get your kids, guys. Okay, so that. However, if you get there late, there's a police cordon, you're an hour late, that is not going to be the best course of action. The best course of action, if you're not there within 15 minutes of that thing being sent to you, that is the scenario, guys, all right? If you can get there within 15 minutes, get your kids. If you can't get there within 15 minutes, I'd say follow the government advice, guys, all right? To go, do you know your kids' school plan? Talk to your school, guys. All right, talk to your school. If you know their plan, you know, because you can imagine now children. Sorry, not even children. You can imagine parents, all right, teachers. Guys, look. Although we like to think teachers are competent, and look, guys, we had the parents' evening the other day, right? And we had a parents' evening the other day, and I was speaking to the girl's science teacher. And I was looking at him, and I was like my little girl said, yeah, we don't have the best science teacher. She's in the top set for science. And I was asking him rudimental science questions, and he didn't have the answer. Now, it's a little bit biased. Me, like, I mean, I was probably his worst nightmare. Guys. I was like, you know, like, you know, if you guys are like presenting something and you get a subject matter expert coming up to you and they're asking you granular questions and you're like, oh, I don't know these answers, but I should, and he knows that I should, and he's a subject matter expert. It was kind of like one of those conversations. But anyway, guys, so what I'm saying is here, try and know your child's, your school's lockdown procedure. All right. If you know it, you can work towards it. You can know what they're going to do next, potentially. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. I think I've covered everything on there. I gave you the government advice, and I think I was fair to the government as well. I think I was fair to the government advice. I've told you guys what I would do. And I think I've explained as much as I can do without going really granular why the government advice is of such. Right, I'm going to get some TikTok comments, guys, and then we'll be closing down on TikTok, and we will continue on YouTube for a little bit. Oh, hang on. Oh, Andrew T is saying, you are debatable. Your theories are crazy. Andrew, come on the live, mate. Come on, Andrew. Come on, Andrew. Andrew on TikTok is saying, you're debatable. Your theories are crazy. Andrew, jump on now, mate. I'll accept you. Call me out. Call me out on anything call me out on anything I've said or anything. Otherwise, if you're not willing to do that, mate, at least didactify your analysis with legibility. Yeah, I say that. Yeah, you know. So where is he, Andrew? Where is he? I don't think he's going to respond. But look, guys, I don't mind anyone trolling me. I really don't. I don't mind people trolling me. Jump on, talk to me face to face. We'll have a debate. Look, guys, do you think I'm going to be mean? I'm not mean to people. I'm, you know, one of the things why I kept my job for so long in various roles is people used to say, Sean, you're an ex-para. How come you don't pull the pins? And I say, I do pull the pins when it's necessary, but 9 times out of 10, it's just best to get a dialogue with people, understand what they want, let them understand what you want, try and come to some mutual middle ground, and you know, everybody can live in broad sunlit uplands. Teacher, I've had some letters here. Is saying you have definitely been shadow banned. I haven't seen anything from you in a long time. Liberty is saying, why are schools say what? I think Liberty means what are schools saying about lockdowns? So look, guys, we've been talking. We've been Ripley. What's talking about Ripley? I don't know what that means. There's some crazy chat going on the YouTube, guys. So Liberty is, in fact, let me pin Liberty's comment. So Liberty, I'm assuming you're a lady, Lady Liberty. Lady Liberty is saying, what are schools saying on lockdown? I think the government, I think everybody understands that at some point, well, do you know what? I'm not even going to say that. What I'm going to say is schools are vulnerable, guys. All right, schools are vulnerable. We know that. All right, we know that people are watching videos. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, you guys know that people are watching these. I believe that people in hotels right now, in places in the United Kingdom, are planning things. You know, and I believe schools are vulnerable, you know, and unfortunately, the government are too scared because, like you know, this guy who got arrested at the. In fact, guys, actually, we're going to jump over to the Brook Hotel in a minute. We're going to jump over to the Brook Hotel. So this guy got arrested at the Brook Hotel. He was watching something. All right, he'll never get ahead in life. He'll never be a head of a corporation. He's a very headstrong man. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? He's not going to get charged. He's not going to be on any criminal watch list. There is no law against watching those videos. So now the question is, what else was happening in that hotel? Okay, what else is happening in the other hotels around the country? Guys, listen, I believe people are planning stuff. It would make no sense for them not to. Hang on, guys. Google it is saying Leanne Smith is right. What's happening here? What's happening here? No, I think Leanne Smith is talking about. No, I think what Leanne Smith is talking about. So earlier on, right? Okay, guys. So I'm doubling up here with the chats. Right. So earlier on, I was talking about what's the movie? Aliens. There's a scene on Aliens where Hicks jumps through the. I mean, they killed him off for the third movie. Massive disaster for the third movie. But I couldn't remember Sigourney Weaver's name in Aliens. So I think that's what she's. Referring to. Anyway, I'm pretty sure that's what she's referring to. Yeah, Tina Elliott. So hang on, let me pin this comment from Tina Elliott here. Tina Elliott is saying, it knocked me sick when I heard what he had been watching. It's terrifying. So here's my question to you, Tina. All right. So this guy at the Beck, is it Beck? At the Brook Hotel. So this guy at the Brook Hotel, he was watching these videos, right? He got caught watching these videos. What do you think they're watching inside the hotel? I don't know. Do we think that guy that got caught, do you think that he is the only one in the entire country who's watching these videos? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, guys. Let me know what you think. And if they're the videos that they're watching, and Tina, he is a member of the security services, not security services. He's security. He's in a position of authority. It's crazy, guys. Absolutely wild times. Bloodline is saying, absolutely not. Tip of an iceberg. Will Bloodline NE? I couldn't agree more. I think that is perfectly articulated. Tina Elliott is saying, that's what's terrifying, Sean. There will be so many of... In fact, let me pin this. That's what's terrifying, Sean. Excuse me. There will be so many of them watching this kind. Look, guys, how many times have I said this? How many times have I said in videos, in live streams, what do you think they're talking about in these hotel rooms? When these people go to protest and they're looking out the windows, what do you think they're saying? Do you think they're saying, oh, yes, I do appreciate the problems we're bringing to the financial system in the United Kingdom, and perhaps I'm not a legitimate asylum seeker and I believe I should go home? Or do you think they're thinking something else? Obviously, while we're on TikTok, guys, I would say what I think they're actually thinking is, the hills are alive with the sound of music. That's what I think they're singing, guys. I think, you know when the lights go out? You know when the lights go out, all right? I think that's what they do. They all sing, the hills are alive. And they do it in a perfect Oxbridge accent. That's my image. They're my thoughts anyway, while I'm on TikTok. Right, guys, listen, I am going to close this down on TikTok. I'm going to jump over to Claire Price is saying, Raven, I'm scared to say anything. And this is the problem, isn't it? People are scared to voice their opinion. People are scared to say what they mean. People are scared to say what they think. That's never a good thing, guys. That's never a good thing. Remember the pot? Remember the pot when the fire's still going and you just put that pot on? Nothing good happens, ladies and gentlemen. Right, guys, before we go, I'm just going to do a quick update on the Brook Hotel in Norwich. Let me just get this up, guys. Give me a second. I'll give you a quick update on what's been happening in the Brook Hotel. Then we'll jump over to YouTube, and then we will be closing down. Raven will be having sleep. Oh, hang on. Right. Give me a second, guys. What was it? Brook? Oh, I'm seeing it here, guys. I'm watching. So I've just put Brook Hotel. I've just put Brook Hotel Norwich, and the video has just popped up. Phenomenal. And he's the security guard. So, like, yeah, I'm not going to continue with that. I'm not going to, while I'm on. I have a follower on TikTok from the UK. She sent me a disturbing video from the Brook Hotel. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's many updates from this, but again, you know, I do believe. So for those of you who was live streaming earlier, I was on the live stream earlier. Excuse me. And one of the things I put this into Google, and it came up. There are no reports of that, and I was like, really, that seems suspicious. Right, Marlene 883 is saying, hang on, let me get Marlene. I've just asked my daughter if her school has ever done a lockdown drill, and she says yes all the time. Marlene, thank you. I hope you can have these conversations with your daughter now. Look, guys, this is exact. Marlene, thank you so much for that information. That means a lot to me. This is why I do these live streams, guys. If I just reach one person, I'm happy. So Marlene has just commented on TikTok, oh my God, I just asked my daughter, has her school ever had a lockdown drill? And she said yes all the time. So Marlene's daughter and Marlene had not had that conversation. So I hope you can, you know, take on board what I just said and potentially have those conversations with your daughter, and maybe they will mitigate things in the future that may or may not go wrong. Right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, listen, I am going to close this down now on what we are, TikTok. I'm going to close this down now on TikTok, guys. I'm going to be over on YouTube. Yeah, I'm going to close this down now on TikTok. I'm going to be over on YouTube for a little bit, and then we will close that down as well. I do apologize, guys. I was a little bit late getting on this afternoon. I don't know what it was. For some reason, TikTok kicked me off. I had to restart, and then I had to do the QR code thing with my phone. If you missed the subscribers live stream earlier, in fact, I'll show you now. Actually, in fact, just a second, guys. I'll show you while you're on. Not that one. Let me just open this up, guys. Give me a second. So for those of you guys who don't know, I'm going to be giving this to the subscribers first. So I've built an app. Let me just open this up, guys. Give me a second. So I built an app, and it's a secure, it's a message encryption app. So that's it there, guys. Can you see that? The Raven app. So that's our app as a community. That's our app. If you want anything added to that, if you want anything taken away from that, if you want me to build extra pages, if you want me to build extra features, I did this myself. I'm the developer. I built it. I take all rights to it, guys. Okay. So that's the Raven app. You enter. And then you get to encrypt messages. You get an encryption key. Only you know the encryption key. I don't know the encryption key. And you can only read that message if the other person has given you that encryption key. So you can, that's where we're going, guys. I just wanted a secure way that you guys can, communicate between each other. Bloodline is saying Google Play. So the reason I've not given it to you guys yet is I'm having trouble with my Apple account. So for whatever reason, it's either my email or it's my Apple or it's my phone number. I don't know what it is, guys. But there's something about my Apple account. I can't register as a developer on Apple. So it might take me a couple of days to get it resolved, but I will get that out there. I will give it to the subscribers first. I want feedback from the subscribers, how to, recommendations on that app, and then I'll put that out to the public. So that's what I've been working on for the subscribers, guys. That's my little gift I wanted to give to you, but I feel like I failed you guys. I feel like I failed you by not being able to give it on Friday, like I said. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to close this down now on TikTok, and I will be open over on YouTube for a little while longer, if you're feeling stronger. And we're done. And we are no longer streaming, ladies and gentlemen. We are no longer streaming on TikTok. We are just streaming exclusively now on YouTube and X. Right, let me get some questions. Claire Price is saying, what videos? Claire, you don't want to know the videos, Claire. You really don't want to know the videos. I'm not, Claire, you don't want to watch those videos, guys, okay? April Lee is saying, what happened with the live stream? What live stream, April? What live stream? The subscribers only live stream? I did that at 5:30. I literally 5:30 on the button. I was there. I know that because I was waiting here for it to go 5:30 and I clicked it. I don't know if people are getting notifications out or not. If you're not getting notifications, I don't know. I'll try and ask or something, ask why people are not getting notifications. I don't know. Lord of Language is saying the only, oh, hang on, let me read this before I read it out loud. So Lord of Language is saying the only way to sort the immigration problem is to make it that you have to work 5 years before you qualify for any UK government assistance, including NHS, with 35% of wages put for taxes and health. It's over, guys. Look, it's over. The numbers involved now, the numbers involved now, I don't feel there's any going back. I really don't, guys. I feel there's no going back. The numbers, the saturation point, I really do feel like it's over. April is, I can say that I've been a teacher for 25 years. Drills happen all the time. I have been at different schools. Lisa Jane is saying, if he doesn't get charged for watching the video, doesn't that raise the question why he was watching them? This is the thing. So, like, what he's going to say is, I was watching those videos to know how to protect my people. I'm a security guard, so I had to protect my people. So I had to know my enemy. It was enemy research. It was actually reconnaissance. He was actually doing reconnaissance, and we should actually pay him overtime for that. Yeah, it was actually reconnaissance. There's no law against watching a video, guys. And if there is, please, if there is a law against watching a video, please let me know. The context here, I wouldn't watch that video. I think it's disgusting. I think it's sick. I understand the underlying message. I do. There's no way around it. If you start stopping people from watching videos, where does that end? If you pass some emergency law saying you can't watch those types. I mean, look, guys, here's a quick one, right? I've seen this video on X. I've seen it like loads of times. It's been shared all over the place. So, this online safety bill that's there to protect people from seeing harmful content? You see where I'm going with that? Like, how clearly it's failed at the first test, it's failed. James is saying it's sick. Yeah, it is sick, guys. All these things are sick. Right, okay. Right, Claire, you don't want to know. You know those. Claire, how old are you, Claire? Claire, let me know how old you are, and then I may or may not tell you where to look. Claire say what? No, Claire, it's not about a video that you've watched. April's age, Raven app. I can't get on. I will ask my husband because he's a developer. No, so April, I've not put the app on yet, and the app. The problem is at my end. I've either over the years I've either registered with Apple and not paid for something, or somebody's registered with my account with Apple and not paid for something, or there's something with my Gmail, or there's something with my phone number, and it's not letting me use those phone numbers. So what I'm going to do tomorrow is I'm probably going to, I think I may have to buy a new computer, buy a new phone, and just open a new Apple account, and that way I'll be able to get on, because that will be totally sanitized. Right, so Claire, you're 38. Right, Claire, you're saying you're 38. So the video that we're talking about is this. There was a security guard last night at the Brook Hotel in Norwich. You know how those people sneak around hotels making videos? So there was a guy sneaking around a hotel doing a video at nighttime, and he found the security guard in his little box, and the security guard. This is the security guard, and he's watching something on his phone. All right. So the guy comes up behind him with the camera, and he's watching what's happening on that video. Now, UK Veterans is saying it was a video about what the guillotine used to do to people. So if you it's all over X. All you need to do is go on X and put Brook Hotel Norwich security guard video. Literally comes up straight away. I warn you though, you're gonna wish you hadn't. All right, you're gonna just take it from me. You don't want to watch it. take it from me. You don't want to watch it. Please don't watch it. You don't need those thoughts. But it goes back to the tropes that I've been talking about, guys. A lot of these tropes I talk about, and they're coming true. You can see them now in real time. It's just, you don't want to see this stuff. You don't want to you don't want to think about what these people are thinking. And a lot of the problems are, we kind of look at other people and it's very, so these people who claim to be progressive, I would love to argue with one of these people that are progressive, because if these progressives look at people from other cultures with Western eyes, that is literally the definition of bigotry, because they're expecting other people to be the same as them, and other people are not the same. They're not, guys. They're really not. Let me ask you this, guys. I know I've done this quite a few times. In fact, Claire Price. Let me ask you this real quick, Claire. In some parts of the world, it's legal to stone women to death. It is. It's legal. And we think, oh, what's this? Think about that, right? You throw stones at somebody's head until they transcend into a beam of light. That ain't a pretty thing. Believe me, that ain't a pretty thing. So you think about, you can go to one of these as a boy, 10-year-old or something. You can watch that. You can be desensitized to that. And this woman, I'm not going to get into that, but, the boy, he's throwing stones from 10. Okay. He goes to another one when he's 12. All right. When he's 14, he throws the final stone. That may happen, guys. That may happen. When he's 16, he might have a taste for it then. He might love going to these stones. He's like, yeah, let's go to another one. That person has not committed a crime. That person can then get on a boat, come to the UK, and get a job as a security guard. What do you think their outlook on women is? Women who wear short skirts. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, guys. I think because I'm woke, I think that when he comes to this country, he will assimilate into our culture, into our into our society, and he will understand how things work. That's what I think, guys. Because I'm woke. Yeah, and Tracy Doll is saying, and those type of, I believe so as well. I believe so as well. Right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I'm going to close this down now. I will be back on at 10 o'clock in the morning. I hope I'll be back on at 10. I should be back on at 10 o'clock in the morning, guys. Listen, you guys don't, my workload is absolutely huge. Per day, it's absolutely huge. So I will be back on, in fact, let me take that down. I'll be back on tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen, at 10. Look, let's just see if we can have an 8-hour period where crazy stuff doesn't happen. Let's just see if we can have 8 hours. But let's not forget, guys, the Notting Hill Carnival starts tomorrow, regardless of what the lady said. On the I get people argue with me, and literally on the Notting Hill website, it says the Notting Hill Carnival kicks off tomorrow, Saturday the 23rd. So she's not arguing with me, she's arguing with the Notting Hill website. But look, whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when it starts. I don't care. I know at the end of it, we're going to have a load of liberal commentators saying, oh, but yeah, we only had 7 stabbings, and we only had 200 assaults, and we only had this many of that. But it's actually the colonizers' fault, because they came and they give, honestly, the reasoning's fantastic. I love watching it and I love listening to it. It's fantastic. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Oh, Lisa Jane is saying, hang on a minute. Lisa Jane is saying, have you seen the arrests already for Notting Hill? No, I haven't. And the weapons already seized. Look, nothing to me says you're going to a culturally enriched carnival, then before the events even happen, weapons are being seized. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I've not seen that. No, Jane. I wouldn't be able to comment. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Lisa Jane, sorry. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I will be back on tomorrow, and I'll see you. I'll see you later. Let's hope we can have 8 hours without any. Let's hope we can have an 8 hours, and I don't wake up and go, oh, by the beard of Zeus and Odin's eye. Anyway, guys, I'll see you in the morning, 10 o'clock, I hope.